Alrighty. Ralph Akin, Civil War Embalmer of 1862. These are instruments of the Civil War Embalmer of 1861.
Wow. You're going to embalm this gentleman?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. This here is a gravity bottle. It works on the principle of every foot above the body is a pound of pressure. It takes 5 pounds of pressure to embalm a body in about 5 hours.
Wow.
The gravity system was used in 1701, currently being used in the year 2006 as well. These instruments are currently being used in 2006 also.
All right.
Now, the only difference in embalming, arterial embalming, is the fluids that go into the body, into the people. Up until about 1890, it was all heavy metals. Now, each embalmer had to mix up their own ingredients, but it was at least 3/4 to 90% arsenic, with mercury, zinc, sugar, lead, soda iodine, phenol, alcohol, even creosote added. The embalming doctors would give the guarantee that the person would never awaken in their coffin and try to get out.
Ah.
Before the Civil War, there was no need for embalming here in America because most people did not go beyond 25 miles from home the whole entire lifetime.
Wow.
So if they were to die, they could very easily be returned home within 48 hours and buried in the family plot. What it is arterial embalming. You either use the carotid artery or you could use a femoral artery. What you do, simply make a incision in the neck, take a pick, pull the artery up a little bit, and put a little nick in the artery. This here is a flow tube we use primarily in the neck. Simply insert that into the carotid artery. Now, right beside the carotid artery is your jugular vein. You cut that jugular vein off completely. Reason being, as the fluid enters the artery, you want to force all the blood out of the body. When finally the embalming fluid comes out of the jugular vein where you cut it off at, you know it's the whole way through the body. So it was fairly easy to know when you were done, provided that the person died from disease. Now, Fred here did not die from disease. He died from lack of blood.
Ooh.
What's going to happen is eventually the embalming fluid will come out of the stub. So you have to take some string or horsehair and tie the artery off. Now, you take a guide, insert it into a vein, take a different flow tube, and then insert it right into the vein there, and then you can continue to do the embalming.
Ah.
Now, you're done arterial embalming. There are parts of the body that does not use blood that need to be embalmed. That's where this instrument here comes into use. It's called a Schrock car. The biggest place that doesn't use blood in your body is your stomach. Simply insert it into the stomach and flood the stomach. Now you have two openings to the stomach. One comes up to the mouth here. When you see fluid coming up to the mouth, you plug the mouth. And then the other one, the other way, of course, it comes out the bottom. Once it comes out the bottom, you have to plug the bottom. Then you bring it out, and then you fill the kidneys. Fill both kidneys up, then come out, and then you fill up the lungs. If you don't fill the lungs up, they will cause deterioration. Okay. I skipped over an important part. When you're doing an embalming, when you cut that jugular vein off, this is called a vac pump. You insert that into the jugular vein. Reason being, you have to give the person a massage of the fluid so you know where the fluid's at in the body and where it's not, and help move the fluid on. If you get a blood clot, you have to come back here to this vac pump. Simply work the vac pump back and forth until blood comes on out again. and then you go back to doing the massaging. Now, there's only about 20,000 soldiers received an embalming in the Civil War out of 640,000. But the fact of it is, the embalmers did touch nobody unless they had money first. And they charged $100 a person for embalming. Union officers were paid for by the government, so we grabbed them first. But anybody else, they have to have a family member come to the embalmer and make the financial arrangement. Sometimes the quartermaster had scored money away with the quartermaster, and the quartermaster would come and engage our services. What's not talked about is the people that followed the army. A lot of times it was somebody from the local community back home, and they knew who was rich and who was not rich. And they had the authority to make the arrangement to have the rich son returned back home.
Ah.
That's it.
Well, sir, we thank you much for your time.
You're welcome.